Hey, my name is Sharon Simmons, and I want to talk about the number 7 Enneagram, the entertaining optimist. We can be very manic. We are the most addictive out of all the numbers. There's 9. So I want to share my journey and how I found out that's what I had and how it set me free when I found out that's what it was. It was like I made sense. And since May is for mental health, I was going to put up a video starting today, Monday, what is the date is it? 23rd. I'll put up one every night this week. And to share my story. It's a crazy story, and I was diagnosed by my writings and the craziness of them. And so I'm going to start with October 2020, when somebody brought me to my own attention. I let go of the pain that I had carried, because number 7s run. We are runners. We're escape artists. We will spin every bad situation so fast we never feel it. And you cannot heal what you do not feel. Period. So it is inside and it internalizes in there. And so, believe it or not, on TikTok, I hired a life coach, and he kind of brought me to my own attention. And this is like the pain that number 7s carry. We're tethered to it. And imagine a rubber band that it doesn't matter where you go, how far you go, how quick you go. If you've not let go of the pain and healed it with counseling, medication, therapy, you're still attached to it. And the longer you run, the harder this force becomes. So when you come back, you're on the couch. I was on the couch for 18 months before God reached down and pulled me up, shaking all the dirt and all the pain off and the roots, and planted me in a blank space. I started painting just like that, because it was a lifetime of pain that had never been felt. So I'm going to talk about this one incident, and then I want to back it up over the past 8 years to now look back, and I know exactly how this all took place. And I just want to share with my story, and know that if you're hearing this, I have prayed for your heart, that whoever might hear this, know that this is God's divine appointment with you. I'm just a vessel sharing my story for 5 nights, trying for 15 to 20 minutes, probably 15 to keep it short. And so I want to start with what happened to my heart when I met this guy on TikTok. He's a life coach. And it's a mixture of a whole week of things that took place. Oh, I can't find the one of the picture. That took place between a video he talked about going back to the innocence. He was talking about a deer and how he was out in the pasture with him, and there was no fear because he was still innocent of life, what happens to everybody. He goes, what if you were to put the wall down and let love in? And between how he spoke to me, your joy is beautiful, I was like, what? And so within a week, many things happened to the point where when I said, yes, I'll put my wall down. And I was thinking maybe a love of a man, but it was my love that I was lacking. I've not liked myself, hated myself, self-loathing, self-pity. Well, it was me, a victim my entire life. I didn't like me, so if I share me with you, you won't like me either. So I'll go over all that, but I want to talk about what happened when I put the wall down. I had still been connected to the pain of what I had to go through in 5 years. It was so painful and so necessary to be this woman I am today, which I'm head over heels in love with myself. But I kept looking back with scarcity and lack and pain, even though God was chipping away and there was blessings, there was growth, there was gratitude, there was a woman blossoming through the pain. And so I scribbled it, I'll show you tomorrow night. I scribbled a heart with ink pens. It was like my energy, and I also stepped into my second full manic at the same time. And so I got up the next morning, went to the paint store. Mind you, I've never painted before, but I had to paint what my heart felt like. Those lights. It felt like my heart exploded. I went and painted this, and I got it framed. I'm so excited. I'm in matted, and it stays in my house, and it's a huge speaking part for what happened in my life. I asked my granddaughter, I'm like, Aubrey, what do you think, what does this say about Gammy's heart? And she goes, it looked like your heart exploded. And I'm like, that's what it felt like. I kid you not. It felt like I finally let go of the pain once and for all. And my heart burst wide open. And then I go on a trip. And I thought, maybe I'm a painter. Who knows? And so I went to the mountains. It was the first time I wasn't running away. I was running to an appointment with God, if you'd like. Remember, number 7s are runners. Adrenaline, adventure, highs so high that you cannot feel your pain. And the longer you live this way, the bigger the vortex of the hole leading to your heart, the more you've got to fill it with. Because number 7s, our thing is gluttony. That's our thing, gluttony. Too much of anything. It could be journaling. It could be listening to music. It could be exercising. Both good and bad, it's too much. And so I went to the mountains. This was very, basic painting, and it's not something maybe everybody could appreciate. And when I paint, especially with these women, I don't say I'm going to paint what it felt like to be angry. I didn't say let's paint what it feels like. I just start painting, and this is my first painting ever, just basic. I was in the mountains, and then all of a sudden my energy takes over, and I just can't help it. I start all these fast motions with spatulas. And then I got home, and it literally looks like, and this is how it felt, I was flung into a different space. This space I'm in now, like I said, here's a lifetime of pain. And people often say, and I really, really wanted to talk about suicide. And because number 7s are impulsive, so impulsive, so is suicide. It's impulsive suicide. And people are always like, well, they seem so happy. We didn't know. Because 7s are entertaining optimists. And so we are the charming, charismatic. We're full of joy and abundance. That's what we radiate. We're loud, we're vivacious, we're excitable, we're enthusiastic. High energy, high energy. And so your body can't keep up with that. It just cannot. It will start breaking down. And again, if you have this as a center, which we don't feel the pain, and yet the pain is inside us, so that's all we are, is the pain. It's our identity. We are married to it. No, we can't go out. And you take a rubber band, like I said, all these different years, doing all these different things. It's the high, it's the too much, it's the force, it's the energy, it's impulsive, I want to be out here, I can't feel. Traumatic events in our lives that need to be felt. You cannot heal what you do not feel. Period. And it has to come from the inside out. And like I said, that's the only way I can describe it, is put a rubber band so tight. I had been doing it my entire life, especially the 8 years since 2014 when I was divorced. It snapped. But there was so much force that I was running from. That's what I mean about flinging me into a different space. And so that was October 2020, which I'm going to go backwards. A year and a half before October 2020, I was on the couch, as in watching 10 or more hours a day of TV. it was in between two manic phases, but I didn't know my first full-blown manic episode. I didn't know it was happening to me, and I journaled about it. And so I got on TikTok before October, like spring, and it just, with me being on the couch, I would come up for my exercise. We have to have movement to get the energy out. I would do my biking 3 times a week. I was going like 20 miles each time, and the other days were swimming. I went to church, and I went on a run excursion to Africa. Like, okay, let's rally here, let's go to Africa. And so that was in the middle of my couch time. But other than that, I was on the couch. 6 months before COVID, I'm like, God, I talk to God all the time. My faith is what has saved my life. And I'm like, well, you sure do have a sense of humor. I've been on the couch for 6 months, and isolating my own self. I'm like, check, I already know how to isolate myself. And I got on TikTok. Thank goodness, God used TikTok and this man, I call him Big Tony, who reached down and pulled me. He looked down and said, you don't belong down there. Put his hand down there and yanked me out, brought me to my own attention, stepped into another manic phase, stepped into my female energy. And so the extreme of it was because I was on the tail end of 18 months, Uber. I had a little table set up on my TV. It was so dark for me because I couldn't understand the past 8 years and the amount of things I had to go through and why there was no joy when there was joy. And so I did 8 months of coaching with him, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I want to just briefly introduce myself, Sharon Simmons, and the redemptive love of Christ and the transformation that has happened in my life, in my heart. My entire countenance is different. I grew my hair out. It's not fixed right now. I started wearing makeup. I did a boudoir photo shoot. I'm wearing dresses. I was in my masculine energy as a defense mechanism. Very short pixie hair, no makeup, very, tough body to ward people off and to prove that I am strong. People who say they're strong and try to heal by themselves, it don't happen that way. It happens in community. And so being strong, true courage and strength is raising the flag. That's what I'm going to do all week, is raise your white flag. Raise your flag. I am struggling. I need help. And that's where God sends in the people that are around you. They come to you. That's how it works. That are givers, that are healed, that are farther along. Their gift is mercy and compassion and love and will help you. But people can't help you if you don't raise the flag. I didn't raise the flag. It came to me through life events. There was no raising the flag. It was God putting me flat out on my back from a lifetime of running. My running was with sports. So October 2020, this is when it all hit the fan, 18 months on the couch. I'm going to back it up. I don't know if going backwards or starting at the beginning matters, but it's 13 minutes in. I'm going to try to wrap it up here. 15 minutes. My brother passed in January 2019. And my dad had already passed 2 years prior. My mom's been gone for 19 years, only sibling. And it hit me so hard. You see, because I had despised my dad and my brother. Angry, victims, woe is me, just such darkness. And I didn't want to be around him anymore. So we punish people and then eventually avoid them or tolerate them, which is the worst feeling in the world. And they're just a mirror. They were a mirror for me. And so Grace caught me that night in the bathtub while I said it all. Like, I owned it. I said I wasn't a good sister. He called me. I didn't call him back. I waited as long as I can to talk to him. He loved me fiercely. I kept him at a distance. Why did I keep him at a distance? Because I saw me in him and I didn't like me. So if I was around him, It was a reflection. He's my mirror. That's how this works, folks. When you despise something in others, it's what you despise in yourself. And so with him gone, and I was in the bathtub that night, I found out on Facebook from a stranger that he passed 9 days later after he had passed. And so I was in the bathtub, I was pouring my heart out to God. And I said, what kind of person treats their sibling like this? What kind of sister am I? And I kid you not, it's just how God interacts with me. He put a mirror down right in front of me. I was in the bathtub, and I saw me because I couldn't see my brother and my dad. And he's like, you do. And the biggest aha moment, I've been despising them and avoiding them because I no longer wanted to see me. And it doesn't matter. We throw people under the bus to avoid them. We punish them. We avoid them. At the beginning, we tolerate them. And I've been tolerated too, and it's the worst feeling in the world. I'm going to stop here in just a second. When he passed, I would step into full-blown, never before, full-blown manic. And I didn't know what was going on. I was diagnosed through my crazy writings. That's how fast stuff was coming at me. And just craziness on paper. In 3 months, this is graph paper, little things. I wrote 3 of those, almost 4 of them in 3 to 4 months. I immediately went into run. Escape my life. I can't handle the pain anymore. And I took a trip across Canada, run. 13 days, stayed out west for 23 days total, took my brother's ashes. It's this big hoorah. I've never taken a trip with him. Let's take his ashes, let's go across Canada. And it was running. I planned this within the first 3 weeks after he passed. And so tomorrow night, I'm going to talk about what those 3 to 4 months look like. I gave away large amounts of money. I did bizarre and crazy things, and I kept writing. I've just recently, because I'm tagging, I'm to hopefully get somebody to help me write about this in a book. I wrote in my journals, I don't understand what's happening. What's going on? What's happening? And I just thought it was grief. And the grief is what kind of broke the back of more pain coming out of my body. And that's why I'm going to describe the past 8 years when the flood, the dam broke of a lifetime of avoiding my pain to get it healed, to grieve it, to have it, to feel it, to sit in it, not stay and wallow, but to feel it. Let God take you through it. We can't go around it, can't run really fast through it. Sit in it and feel it. I didn't do that my entire life. Throw in there verbal abuse, throw in there, which me too, it was both ways in my marriage. Me, verbal abuse to my own self through attachment and detachment disorders, which I learned these past 2 years about love bombing, what my dating life looked like. And so I just wanted to come and give you an introduction. I think I'm going to go to 20 minutes here and stop. If I'm going like this in different areas, so be it. That's how my mind works. I'm not a speaker. One day I will be. I'm a comedian. I started doing stand-up comedy. I paint. I'm a life coach. I started playing the drums. I'm going to talk about what has helped me with somatic healing, if that's how you say it. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. My body just did it. And I did not physical therapy, counseling the last 18 months of my marriage before we divorced after 30 years, 34 years together. 18 months when the wall broke, the dam broke, and I fell apart. So that's where I'm going to end it. I fell apart. I was a train wreck, and it was necessary. It was just necessary, and it was a gift. My ex and I needed to be apart. We both knew that. I would detach, he'd attach. He'd detach, I'd attach. I mean, we were like a yo-yo, both needing each other to fill the hole in our life. Him not in his masculine energy, me not in my female energy. So it's 1950, 20 minutes. I hope you join me follow, like. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 views to start doing lives. I need you to raise the flag. Just start waving it. Surrender. I surrender. I need help. I'm Sharon. I hope you've gotten some help. I'm going to put it up 20 minutes every night this week. May mental health awareness, and unfold this story that got me to where I am today, where I'm head over heels in love with myself. I'm learning to use my voice, and I want to share with the physical things that I've done to help with the crazy monkey mind that we have in here. I'm going to bring up some notes from coaching for 6 sessions with a life Enneagram coach about the number 7. I'm going to go over that one whole night with my notes. So be blessed and get some help. All right. Love you guys. Bye.